A big-shot politician had to spend a couple of days in the hospital. He was a royal pain to the nurses because he bossed them around just like he did his employees. None of the hospital staff wanted to have anything to do with him. The head nurse was the only one who could stand up to him. She came into his room and announced, "I have to take your temperature." After complaining for several minutes, he finally settled down, crossed his arms and opened his mouth. "No, I'm sorry," the nurse stated, "but for this reading, I cannot use an oral thermometer." This started another round of complaining, but eventually he rolled over and bared his rear end. After feeling the nurse insert the thermometer, he heard her announce, "I have to get something. Now you stay just like that until I get back." She left the door to his room open on her way out. He cursed under his breath as he heard people walking past his door laughing. After almost an hour, the man's doctor came into the room. "What's going on here?" asked the doctor. Angrily, the man answered, "What's the matter, Doc? Haven't you ever seen someone having their temperature taken?" After a pause, the doctor confessed, "Well, no, I guess I haven't. Not with a carnation anyway." One night, a guy goes to get a room in a hotel. "Hello, I want a single room for the night, please." "Fine, sir. Here's one of our best rooms. Room 13, says the concierge and hands him the key. The guy goes upstairs, takes a shower, and gets straight into bed. At about 2-some o'clock in the morning, 2 gorgeous naked women come in and slide under the covers. When he realizes what is going on, he starts screwing both of them. He can't believe what's happening. Next morning, still surprised by last night's events, he goes downstairs to settle the bill. "How was your room, sir?" asked the receptionist. "Excellent. I will come back again. What do I owe you?" asked the man. "Well, actually, sir, we are doing a promotional offer. Not only do you not have to pay, but we give you $10 as a welcome gesture," says the receptionist. "What?" says the guy, very surprised indeed. "That's amazing." He takes the $10 bill and wanders off, debating whether his buddies will believe him or not. Needless to say, after a few days, he's told all his friends and neighbors about Room 13 and the amazing night of passion. The next week, one of his buddies goes to check out the room. "Room 13, please." "Certainly, sir. Here's your key." After he gets in bed at the same time, 2 o'clock, 3 girls this time, extremely horny, get in bed and screw his brains out. The next morning, not only does he not have to pay, but he too gets $10. After a month, everyone knows this hotel, and especially Room 13. Everyone that stays in Room 13 gets the same treatment: a good screw and a $10. After a few weeks, the story reaches the president. The president decides to check the story out for himself. He visits the hotel and asks for Room 13. He gets the keys and goes upstairs. After a couple of drinks, he gets in bed, waiting patiently for the naked girls to appear. Indeed, at about 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 naked ladies come to bed. They are as horny and wild as all the stories the president has heard. The president gets his pecker out and screws the both of them all night long. This is the night of his life. Next morning, he goes to reception, and when he asks how much the bill is, the receptionist says, "Nothing to pay, sir. Actually, we are doing an introductory offer. Here's $50 as a welcome gesture." Curious, the president asks the receptionist, "Well, that's strange. Everyone else who comes here gets $10. Why do I get $50? "Well, sir," says the receptionist, "this is the first time we've filmed a porn movie with a president in it." There's a guy who really takes care of his body. He lifts weights and jogs 5 miles every day. One morning, he looks into the mirror and admires his body. He notices that he is suntanned all over except one part, and he decides to do something about it. He goes to the beach, completely undresses, and buries himself in the sand except for the one part sticking out. 2 little old ladies are strolling along the beach, and one looks down and says, "There really is no justice in this world." The other little old lady says, "What do you mean?" The first little old lady says, "Look at that. When I was 10 years old, I was afraid of it. When I was 20 years old, I was curious about it. When I was 30 years old, I enjoyed it. When I was 40 years old, I asked for it. When I was 50 years old, I paid for it. When I was 60 years old, I prayed for it. When I was 70 years old, I forgot about it. And now that I'm 80, the damned things are growing wild." A knockout young lady decided she wanted to get rich quick, so she proceeded to find herself a rich 75-year-old man and planned to screw him to death on their wedding night. The courtship and wedding went off without any problem, in spite of the half-century age difference. The first night of her honeymoon, she got undressed and waited for him to come out of the bathroom to come to bed. When he emerged, however, he had nothing on except a condom to cover a 12-inch erection and was carrying a pair of earplugs and a pair of nose plugs. Fearing her plan had gone desperately amiss, she asked, "What are those for?" The elderly groom replied, "There are two things I can't stand: the sound of a woman screaming and the smell of burning rubber." A man and a woman were married for 40 years. When they first got married, the man said, "I am putting a box under the bed. You must promise never to look in it." In all their 40 years of marriage, the woman never looked. However, on the afternoon of their 40th anniversary, curiosity got the best of her and she lifted the lid and peeked inside. In the box were 3 empty beer bottles and $2,000 in small bills. She closed the box and put it back under the bed. Now that she knew what was in the box, she was doubly curious as to why. That evening, they were out for a special dinner at their favorite restaurant. After dinner, the woman could no longer contain her curiosity and she confessed, saying, "I am so sorry. For all these years I kept my promise and never looked. However, today the temptation was too much and I gave in. But now I need to know, why do you keep the bottles in the box?" The man thought for a while and said, "I guess, after all these wonderful years, you deserve to know the truth. Whenever I was unfaithful to you, I put an empty beer bottle in the box under the bed to remind myself not to do it again." The woman was shocked, but said, "I am very disappointed and saddened, but I guess after all those years away from home on the road, temptation does happen, and I guess that 3 times is not that bad considering the years." They hugged and made their peace. A little while later, the woman asked the man, "Why do you have all that money in the box?" To which the man answered, "Whenever the box filled with empties, I cash them in." 3 elderly men are taking a walk outside their nursing home. The first one says, "Windy, isn't it?" The second one says, "No, it's Thursday." The third one says, "So am I. Let's go get a beer." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.